Hi, good evening, folks, and welcome to this week's installment of the Minority Report. I'm Arlan David, your host, and as per usual, it is indeed a pleasure coming into your living rooms, your home spaces, your personal lives, as it were, and really getting the opportunity to share a number of things with you, a lot of information, a lot of education, and to generally interact with you, the viewers, and those who would have made this program quite a success over the last almost 3 years, I think it is. We are closely approaching 3 years on air. This evening, we had a slight bit of a late start. We had some technical things that we were trying to work out in the beginning, but thank God that we are here, we are up and running, and we are in for a tremendous program this evening. You know, I always want to take the opportunity every single time I come here and I sit in this chair to thank you, the viewers, to thank those of you who have made the Minority Report a successful program, and I'll repeat that, a very successful program. One thing that I can say, and I intend to allow this to continue to resonate, is that people keep meeting you all throughout Tobago and even Trinidad, and are saying that the message of the Minority Report is in fact resonating with them. They are sitting, they are listening. Many people are even sharing the information to others and really having conversations that they would not have had on a regular day. One of the things that many persons attest to is the fact that the information that is provided here and is presented here, they can really see the validity in it and the relevance of it. Because when they of themselves bring it up and ask questions to members of this administration, there is absolutely no response. There is no debunking. There is nothing that can be said to refute the information that is passed on. And so it speaks volumes to the credibility of the information, as well as the credibility of the program itself. And this program would not have attained such credibility if it wasn't for you, the viewers, and for those of you who continue to lend your support to us, not just by way of messages and encouragements and so on, but many of you are seeing us and coming to the office and so on, and taking the opportunity to even pray with the minority team. And so I really want to say thank you on behalf of the minority leader, the minority counselor, the rest of the team at the office of the minority leader. We really want to say thank you for your heartfelt support. We do in fact see and feel the sincerity of many persons that come into the office and just sometimes offer a word of encouragement, well-wishers that would come in. And the only regret that we have is that at this present point in time, we are not able to do so much more to assist persons. Sitting in that office and sitting where we sit, you get a real first-hand picture of the challenges that persons are facing right now in Tobago. You get a real clear view of a number of the issues. Sometimes we go through the entire day just treating with issues, persons coming in, persons calling in, persons emailing, some persons writing anonymous letters, dropping it off, and when the information is checked, it is in fact validated, and it's a real stress even at times, just going through the day trying to come to terms with some of the challenges that people are having. And, you know, it would have brought us to a point where we actually did a series of programs called Feeling the Pain. Because what we have discovered is really and truly, in fact, that many of us right here in Tobago have been feeling the pain, have been feeling the economic pinch, have been feeling the negative impacts based on decisions that have been made consistently by this present administration. And I use the word consistently because one would think that you would learn from some of your mistakes. And we often hear there's an old adage that describes the person or the personality of a fool. And that definition is someone who does the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And needless to say, we have seen this administration bring a number of persons to their knees, literally, and to tears with some of the decisions that have been made over the last almost 3 years. A number of things that have been circulating in the news even beg to question the capacity of this administration. And you know, we're going to get a bit into it as the program unfolds this evening. But before we do so, let's do a bit of housekeeping. So if you are looking at us this evening, the platforms that you can utilize are the Tobago Updates website, the Tobago Updates YouTube channel, and the Tobago Updates Facebook page. If you're an AMPLIA subscriber, it gets even better for you. You can simply turn your television to channel 102. Let me repeat that. Turn your television to channel 102. And you can not just view the Minority Report live, but you can take the opportunity to benefit from all of the programming here coming out of the Tobago Updates network. That is daytime, lunchtime, evening time, nighttime news, and so forth. So take the opportunity to explore channel 102, you AMPLIA subscribers. But for those of you who are logged on to the Facebook platform, let me encourage you to interact with us a bit as we go through the program. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share your ideas, your concerns. Let's keep it respectful. Let's respect each other's opinions. Let's respect each other's points of view as they are shared. And let's always remember that this is a family-oriented program. A number of children also participate in viewing. And so we always want to maintain that sort of example to our young ones, because they would eventually become the updated model of who we are. And if we give them poor raw material to work with, then they would just magnify that raw material. So folks, if you also have information that you're willing to share with us via video, via photograph, as the case may be, you can also feel free to send us a WhatsApp. Yes, a WhatsApp on 284-6597. That's 284-6597. And we would look at the information. If it's something that can be ventilated at the point in time, then we would. If it's something that we would have to do some research on, then a commitment would be made to get that research done, get the information, and then come back to you, the public, and present that information that has been sent or brought to us. So this evening, we have a very interesting program lined up for you. And, you know, before we actually get into it, you know, we always try to do some congratulations. We always try to highlight some topics, some hot topics in the news and so on. And so I want to say, first of all, we want to give a big shout out to the Happy Haven School, who would have had their graduation ceremony. It is today. Miss Thomas James and the Happy Haven family. She would have mentioned that in conversation. And, you know, it's really a labor of love that we see that group of individuals putting in, working there at the Happy Haven School, always ensuring that they normalize things so that these children who may be a bit different to the regular, to what we call the regular, but they are never left out. And I know, and I'm going to drop this here and allow the minority leader, when next he's on the program, to go a bit more into it. I know that coming out of a number of visits and conversations, there is something that the minority leader will also share with respect to his efforts to align and assist in making Happy Haven as productive and as successful an institution as it is designed to be. So congratulations on your graduation today, guys. Ms. Thomas James and the entire team at Happy Haven. I want to also say to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, excellent work done there by ACP Sabero and Senior Superintendent Eli, who would have led this exercise where most of us would know by now a quantity of banned substances has been discovered to the tune of just over $42 million worth of narcotics, which included, and this is the part that I really want to point out, which included a quantity of arms and ammunition as well. I really want to say congratulations and great work to the TTPS right here in Tobago, and I want to encourage these officers to continue working diligently in creating a safe space right here in Tobago. We would have seen over the last couple of years quite a spiraling out of control of crime and criminality on a whole. And at different points in times, we would have asked ourselves, what next? But we see the TTPS really stepping up and being equal to the task. We see the team really working hard, and hats off to the hard-working officers who continue to be diligent in the execution of their duties and responsibilities to the general public. We really want to say that we are behind you, and we support every effort that goes towards making Tobago, and by extension Trinidad and Tobago, a better place and a safe place for us all to live in. I also want to say congratulations to the 13 additional candidates that have been successful at the screening process. I really want to say congratulations to all persons. As most of you would know, the People's National Movement has already begun its process, and these things have now come out into the media. Congratulations to all who would have put themselves forward. Anyone who has the gumption to put yourself forward for public service, I do in fact salute you. It is not an easy task. It is not something that is for the weak. And I congrats to all those who would have come forward and offered themselves for service. More so, congratulations to those who were successful in being selected to go forward as representatives or to represent the party in the upcoming general elections when that is in fact called. A great amount of buzz taking place around the young, I think what is now the youngest selected, Kareem Marcel, really an aspiring young man commanding the admiration of not just his community, but I think thus far all of Trinidad and Tobago. So congratulations, guys. The journey has now begun, and we really look forward to great things from these young men and women who have put themselves forward for public service. At this time, guys, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we're going to shift gears a bit and head into the other segment of our program. Stay locked on, invite someone to view, and we'll be right back.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard. Get ready, Tobago! Tobago Day 2024 is quickly approaching. Celebrate with us. Here's the schedule of activities.
November 22nd and 23rd, Tobago Day Launch and Motorcade. November 16th to December 8th, Battle of the Cards. November 29th, Interdivision Triathlon 5 a.m. at Buku Integrated Facility. November 30th, THA Sports and Family Day 6 p.m. Buku Integrated Facility. Celebrate with us on December 1st at the Chocolate and Mud Juve 5 a.m. to 12 noon at Lure Coco Estate in Goldsboro. On December 4th, we give thanks with a Thanksgiving service from 9 a.m. at Lambo Church of God. 6:30 p.m. Tobago Day Awards. December 5th, Youth Plenary at 1:30 p.m. at the Assembly Legislature. December 6th, Chief Secretary's Art Competition and Prize Giving Ceremony. December 14th, Tobago Fashion First, Opulence Enhanced. 6:30 p.m. Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resorts. Tobago Day, push for progress. 44 in 24.
Please be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shore Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
Are you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Unwrap the magic of Christmas and have the best Christmas ever with a Christmas Wishes loan from Bethel Credit Union.
Up to $20,000 can be yours, so you can take care of all those Christmas expenses. You could even pay off all your debts and your credit card.
Come on down to where we make wishes come through, because we see you
at BCU.
Visit any of our offices today at 31 Bethlehem Road, Bethel, Tobago, or Mount Mary Lower, Scarborough, Tobago.
You can contact us at 639-8226-660-7358 or 631-1336.
Normal lending criteria apply. Think, plan, save with Bethel Credit Union. Because we see you at BCU. We see you at BCU. Come on down, get a loan or two, cause we see you this Christmas at BCU.
Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tonight I am here with the Giant African Snail Eradication Team, a small but dedicated team of men who work tirelessly every night to help suppress and eventually eradicate the giant African snail in the infested areas of Tobago. The giant African snail, as you know, is a pest of several species of plants and is also the vector of the rat lungworm that can cause meningitis in humans. Tonight we want to emphasize the need for public participation. We have our dedicated staff here who work tirelessly on a regular basis to eradicating your spaces. However, the exercise will only be effective if we have cooperation and coordination with members of the public. How can you help to help us eradicate the giant African snail, you may ask? You can do that by checking the division's Facebook page every Monday and you will see the eradication schedule. If you have the time, you can avail yourself by calling or WhatsApping 482-7528, which is the Plant Protection Hotline, and volunteer to work alongside the eradication team. Why is that important to come out and work with the eradication team? We have 5 men here working, but if we have an additional 5 pair of eyes, more snails can be intercepted. So we are calling on everyone who has the time and is able to come out with your closed-toe footwear, preferably boots, but anything that covers your toes, and of course a torch, and come prepared to help us collect and destroy these dangerous and destructive pests.
Hi folks, and we are back on the Minority Report, and before we actually go into, and I'll be introducing very soon my guests with me in studio as they get settled in shortly. There are some questions, sometimes it's amazing how people would just be sending questions and so on to you. And this is the Minority Report. We try to ventilate a number of the things. And one of those questions that persons have been asking is, where is the Isle of Tobago sign now? We saw a couple days ago, the removal of that particular sign that had become a fixture in Tobago's landscape, creating a large attraction for anyone coming to the island. It is something that has been a hallmark throughout various countries. When you travel there is always the opportunity to take photos at those signs saying I love whatever country you are visiting. And so a decision would have been taken some time back by the board of the Esplanade to remove the I Love Tobago sign and to relocate it to a more palatable, so to speak, position. However, we've seen this sign, and again, let me take the opportunity to note that the benefit of the sign was lost during the carnival season, and I said it last week, I'll repeat. A number of persons coming off the boat and coming into Scarborough with the intention to take a photo at the sign evening time were very disappointed in the fact that they met the sign, but there was no lighting. None of the letters were lit and that kind of thing. And so it created a bit of a stir. However, now we've seen the sign removed from its actual place, and there is absolutely no indication. We're not hearing anything from the relevant authorities with respect to the exact location of the sign. We know that they would have changed a couple times. And then even more so, when is the sign expected to actually be installed? And I mean, this again is heartrending to many persons here, because the sign has actually become part of what we now call Tobago's cultural expression. When people come in, they have that opportunity. So one question that would have been sent to ask the relevant authorities is, where is the sign, the I Love Tobago sign, and when is it expected to be installed at whatever the new location is? So I trust that we would hear probably the Chief Secretary or the Secretary with responsibility for the Esplanade come to the people to explain or to provide a particular answer. Last week, we also saw the sitting again of the Assembly, the Tobago House of Assembly, and the minority heading into that sitting, as per usual, with a number of questions to highlight the accountability and to keep this administration accountable to the people. And again, in alignment with that, one of the questions that has been asked, and persons are calling on the relevant authorities now that it has become public information, to provide us with an explanation, is that who answers for giving out a $186 million contract yet again to an entity that is not have vested interest in Tobago or Tobago's economic development. For those of you who may not be aware, in a recent move, yet another contract has been signed now to the tune of $186 million, giving out to a contractor that is on par with any local or Tobago-based contractors. And I mean, we have definitely been seeing a pattern here, and the minority would have been asking the question in the House of Assembly, and again, simply receiving dances from the persons. As a matter of fact, what we saw coming out of the last sitting, a number of persons, including the now, well, I don't want to say newly minted, because she has been there now for some time and shows no signs of any newness, but simple rhetoric of the previous Secretary of Finance, actually trying to exclude herself from the process, or to pull herself out of the process, even though she was part of the evaluation committee that would have granted this said contract. We also see the Chief Secretary making utterances that again exclude himself from the process of the granting of the contract. So somebody is asking via the messaging, and they ask the question, who then can be held responsible for yet again giving out a $186 million of Tobago's patrimony? yet again to an entity where you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that that amount is not going to be circulating in Tobago, nor is it going to have the trickle-down effect that we want to see. Having said that, I want to put you on notice that on Thursday morning at 11 a.m., the Office of the Minority Leader would be hosting a press conference where the minority leader and the minority councillor would take the opportunity to divulge a bit more information to the general public, where they will take the opportunity to ask a few more questions based on some of the information that has come forward, some additional information coming forward, where they are going to be calling on persons, the relevant persons who are in the quote-unquote hot seats, to provide us, the general public, with greater clarity on some of the issues that seem to be outstanding. We would have seen recently in the JSC one administrator coming clean with information that I am certain shocked all of us here in Tobago, where we now learned that a number of contractors who were engaged by this administration under emergency works have been unable to complete contracts that they would have been assigned or awarded, and I think one of the biggest shocks is that coming out of that, though no explanation has been given, coming out of that, we still see the award of another contract to a contractor who would have failed to execute in his first commitment at a smaller amount, yet still being awarded something substantially increased. And so we are putting you on notice. The Office of the Minority Leader would be hosting that press conference on Thursday. And I want to say to you, members of the general public, log on. It's going to be streamed live by Tobago Updates and a number of the other media houses who will be present at that press conference. And there's information that is going to be presented there that is definitely not only going to be mind-boggling, but it's going to be educational as well, opening the eyes of all of us who would have expected much better from this particular administration. So I want to put you on cue Thursday at 11 a.m., the Office of the Minority Leader. We are going to be hosting that press conference, and I want you to stay tuned, invite as many persons to log on as possible. So folks, right now we're going to pay a few more bills, and when we get back in studio, we're going to head into our segment this evening where we're going to be having some major discussions. We'll be right back.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Coming up, it's the season for love, as this movement makes a difference for yet another year. The food we're serving, cocktails flowing, and the rhythms ongoing. Welcome everyone to a truly joyous edition of Caribbean Passport. It's all next on this station.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shore Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
Laugh your way to cold, hard cash. We Christmasing with $1,200 cash from Flow. Sign up or upgrade to an everything you want plan and get everything you want. That new TV you've been eyeing, new curtains to brighten up your home, and yes, your ham and grog secured this year. Sign up or upgrade today and get $1,200 cold, hard cash to spend how you want, where you want. Limited time offer. Special conditions apply. Flow, inspired by you.
Are you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
This Christmas, believe in magic. Enjoy our comforting deals on furniture that'll leave your loved ones in awe. Only at Standard.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
So folks, we are back and I want to get right into this evening's next segment. And I want to open this segment with a short clip as I prepare to introduce my guest. So I'll ask Mr. Director just to run that little clip for me.
Keep counting my blessings and blessings and blessings. Blessings and blessings and blessings. I still hold my head high. High, high, high. Counting my blessings, blessings, yeah. Church, you bless me, no one could take this away. Na 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 na. The world of fame, slowly saying that it. Right now the world could change, I'm slowly saying that it.
Welcome back, folks, and well, I think it spoke for itself. Joining me in studio this evening for the first time on the Minority Report is the Member of Parliament for Tobago West, Minister of Sport and Community Development, the Honorable Shamfa Ashaki Cudjoe. Welcome to the program. Lewis.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. David. To all of Tobago and Tobago updates, I saw you this morning and here again tonight. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening.
You know, I wanted us to start off that way because sometimes people forget that you all are human beings just like everybody else. You know, today has been an extremely hectic day for you. It is indeed a challenge functioning in the way that you have to and that the people call upon you to. But one thing I want to note is that I've never heard you complain.
No, you can't complain because you chose this work. Yeah, you chose this work. The people called upon you to serve and you've accepted the call to serve. It's what service is all about. You give so much of your time and your life to this, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a real pleasure and privilege to serve the people I love and the people who raised me, the people who ensure that I was educated and I had access to opportunity. So the least I could do is to serve my people. So it's a pleasure.
Indeed. And I think, MP, it goes without saying, and I know most of, if not all of Tobago will agree, you are definitely one of the hardest working. Sometimes I wonder if you're omnipresent because one minute you see you in Trinidad, and then by the time the blink of an eye, you're at a function here in Tobago.
I wish we used to get miles for as much as we fly between Trinidad and Tobago, but it's a pleasure.
But I want us to get right in this evening with our conversations. There has been a lot taking place in your life with respect to from a ministerial perspective. I want to touch a bit on that. Quite a lot coming out of sports and community development. How has this role, how have you adjusted to the role? And people forget that you're Minister of Sport and Community Development for all of Trinidad and Tobago. So it's not just like with a focal point on just Tobago, but it's widespread. How have you been able to adjust?
I think I came from Ministry of Tourism to Youth and Sport and now to Sport and Community Development. The good thing is that the responsibility for sport and community development in Tobago falls under the remit of the Tobago House of Assembly. So I help. Yeah. So even though the responsibility is primarily on the THA, when groups reach out to me, athletes reach out to me, community entities reach out to me, I make sure and serve no matter where I go and served as a minister, whether it's in tourism, sport, youth, community development, you name it. My business is to ensure that the people of Tobago benefit from whatever my ministry has to offer. So we get to provide support to Tobagonians far and wide in all that we do. As the only sporting facility in Tobago that falls under the remit of the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, of course, is the Dwight York Stadium. every other sporting facility falls under the THA. The sporting disciplines in Tobago fall under the THA. We provide support. When they reach out to us, we don't say no or we don't send them back to the THA. As long as they apply on time and they have the relevant documents and so on, we work to the best of our ability to support them.
And again, I would have seen a number of persons benefiting from those particular facilities. Yes. I want to zero in a bit on something you said in terms of programs, and I think this is something in the area of community development that really stood out. There were some programs that you launched, Empower, 40 under 40 and so on, where we saw young persons being thrust into the forefront, but not just as influencers, but more taking up leadership role to become mentors.
Right.
What was the idea behind it, and what was the outcome, the objective, and how successful has it been, in your opinion?
I think that has been the most exciting part of my journey as a politician, because I get to walk from community to community, listen to the cries of people and their concern, and then develop programs to treat with the issues or to treat with whatever they have raised with me. So programs like 40 under 40 programs I created and then work with the ministry to develop and then implement. So 40 under 40 was all about changing the narrative for young people, and we wanted to find 40 persons under the age of 40 nationwide to show young people that it's not only about getting 5 subjects. God made everybody with some skills, some talent, and we can showcase young people doing fabulous things, young people who didn't choose the usual doctor, lawyer, teacher, that our parents usually hope for us, and we found singers, entertainers, persons in the fashion industry, sportsmen, showing youngsters that, hey, yes, it's good to get your 5 subjects. By all means, go to school, get that. But if for some reason you were not able to accomplish that in your first school, there are so many different avenues and opportunities available in Trinidad and Tobago. After 40 under 40, we had projects like Project Leap, where we go from community to community, training, equipping young people with skills to prepare them for the world of work and so on. In the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, I've had the pleasure of introducing Empower TT. It's very, very close to my heart because it's about giving young men another chance at life. Those that had dropped out of school, no sense of direction, looking for help, looking for guidance. I believe in mentorship because it's good to learn from somebody else's story and somebody else's experience. And it's all about connecting people and helping persons to lift up others and, just take them on a whole journey where they can believe in themselves. I'm all about empowerment and enriching the lives of people. So we also create I Choose Sports.
Yes.
I Choose Sports. I'm excited about that too. I Choose Sports is about changing the culture in schools or changing our culture, period. We come from a background where some old school parents and even teachers and principals believe that sports pulls you away from your academics, and athletics and academics cannot go hand in hand. You have to choose one or the other. And it's about showing that a better student is a student athlete, and sports gives to you or helps to train you in different things and different ways that nothing else can. It's about networking, socializing, physical fitness, making friends, learning to win, learning to lose gracefully. So I have fun in doing what I do because I get to touch hearts and change lives in a positive way. And that's what service is all about for me.
Looking at it and hearing some of the explanations, and I wanted you to go a bit deeper into the Empower, especially we'll circle around to that. We're seeing a very holistic approach here now, not just to sport, but to youth development. And I'm glad that you mentioned that in terms of the education system, there's not just the one way. You can be a sportsman, you can excel in your schoolwork. These policies in terms of, and I'm drilling this down a bit now to Tobago West, because I saw a lot I actually had a conversation with a young man last week who was asking about the Empower program, and he was saying, you know, he really wanted to get into that program because he knew some guys who all they could do now is just they keep talking about it. As member of parliament for Tobago West, and you preside over the seniors, the young men, the young women, the children. How have these policies, have you seen it really impact directly the lives of the young men who would have participated? And what are some of the success stories coming out of it?
I think what is beautiful, interesting, rewarding, and fulfilling about Empower TT is we get to watch the growth and the transformation in youngsters who were unemployed, sitting on the side of the road doing just about nothing, and equipping them with life skills, putting them in the same space with older, experienced men to have real heart-to-heart conversations and to share experiences, to watch them develop that desire to want to change for the better and to do something more uplifting with their lives. That's inspirational even for me. You know, you have high school dropouts, those who didn't even get the chance to go to high school, persons who probably would have been on drugs. And let me tell you, it's not easy because you deal with people who have difficulty staying in a classroom setting. So you sometimes in the middle of a class, you would see the facilitator stop them and give them push-ups, and, you know, they teach them karate and all sorts. It's about really doing what we need to capture their attention and help them to transform. I've seen young men who were not working at the beginning of the program because it's basically for unemployed persons, and who are now working, who set up their own business. We had a young man who set up his business and got the opportunity to go defend his business proposal and seek opportunities in Dubai. So it's beautiful to watch. We've seen them started their own companies. We've seen youngsters working. A matter of fact, when I did a courtesy call with Secretary Joel Sampson, I think it was last week, one of the persons we met in the department working was a former Empower TT participant. Then at, I think it's at CNC3, we have an Empower TT participant working there too. Those who have gone on to start MIC, to get their different certificates and so on. So it's really good to see them change. And I mean, you won't get everybody, but at least once they have participated in the program, we know that they know better and they have other options. Most importantly, they have a shoulder to lean on. They can call the ministry, call the facilitator of the program. You have persons working in different stores, different areas, building their skills throughout Trinidad and Tobago and setting an example for others. I think when they go back to their communities and they tell their friends about their experience and they get excited, you see young men say, you know, I first got on board because of the stipend. I came for the stipend. But now here I am learning and growing, and I want to stay and I want to tell all my brethren and them. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And
I think it has also lent to the fight against crime and criminality. Especially because it targets the young men. And I want to focus a bit away now from ministry. In Tobago here, we have seen, and I would have alluded to it earlier in the program, we even had a program where we called Feeling the Pain. A number of persons in Tobago have been literally under the gun, as they say on the streets, because of poor decisions made at the THA level and decisions made to victimize contractors and shut down industries and so on. As member of parliament, you sit in an office where you're responsible for the entire West constituency, 20,000+ persons. How do you cope or treat with the influx of persons coming with various needs? And I'm saying that against the backdrop of just in the office of the minority leader every day. People are coming, some sitting and crying for you even before they start to speak. And we know it's hard, it's difficult for persons out here. How have you been able to manage that at your level where you sit and treating with issues?
It's been quite a challenge. Many of the problems that persons come to us seeking help are not items under the central government. Yeah, as Member of Parliament for Tobago West, we put persons in contact or in touch with the services offered by the central government. So you have the usual self-help application, home improvement, you name it, grants offered by the different ministries in central government, persons who need help with water, with light, and so on. We do that to the best of our ability, but the day-to-day, Tobagonians chose the PDP. Tobagonians chose this current crop of persons in the Tobago House of Assembly to lead them and to treat with their everyday needs, employment, education for their children, you know, work for contractors and to develop economic activity. When they had the chance to choose, they chose this administration, and they are now learning their lessons. They're now learning their lessons. And let me tell you, I have no problem with people wanting a change. I believe that people have their reasons and they favor who and what they favor for whatever reasons. I believe in people having that freedom to make their choice. But when you make your choice, you have to live by it. And we must accept and appreciate that in the PNM, we were not perfect. We had made mistakes and causing the people to want to try something different. So you can't vex with the people for trying something different, you know. So they've tried something different and they are not totally pleased. And you cannot totally please anybody. But it's important to stand by, to call wrong and right. There are persons who see wrong happening before their eyes and experiencing hurt, and they refuse to speak. Some of them because of shame. Yes, they made the decision and now this is how it ended up, and they can't speak. They don't want to speak. Some are now saying they're just totally turned off by politics. But at the end of the day, it's about decisions, it's about choices, it's about people. It's very disheartening and disconcerting to watch our people suffer this way, because we believed what they told us on their campaign. Even some of the things they said they would fix, I and all believe. They ran a nice campaign. We must admit, they ran a solid, emotional campaign, vexing who they needed to vex, and touching the hearts of those who they needed to touch the hearts of. So we all bought into it. Many PNMites bought into it. And they say, you know what? I trying something different. You can't vex with them for trying something different. But now you've made this decision for 4 years and you have to live with that decision for 4 years. So it's sad. Certain things like, let's say, for instance, there are those who bash Sandals, and even Watson Duke in his capacity as leader of the PDP at that time said, okay, don't bring Sandals now, but when we come in, we go bring them. And that kind of attitude and what was done, it totally hurt the business of Sandals. And they say, you see, we're not willing to chance our reputation like that. Let's go elsewhere. And we watch other countries benefiting. I'm not saying Sandals is a magic bullet and it would have solved all our problems. But when you see young men and women coming to your office, they need help, they need training, they come to you for a job, they come for a work. And you know, it's not only a work they need training, they need skills development and so on that could have easily been gotten through an establishment like a Sandals. And when the tide rises, it lifts every boat, you know? So at the end of the day, it would have redounded to increased economic activity, not only for Sandals itself, but the entire tourism sector for Tobago and so on. And everything that the PNM tried to extend to the Tobago House of Assembly, they find a fault because they don't want it from the PNM. They don't want to say PNM have given Tobago X or Y, so they bash it for bashing its sake. And that really is unfortunate because as politicians, we are just passing through. All of us, PNM side, TPP side, PDP side, the people who now going around looking for for new members and so on, texting people phone, asking them to come meeting and they give them money and all kind of thing. At the end of the day, as politicians, we are all passing through, and our business is to leave Tobago better than we met it by implementing programs and providing opportunities for persons in their different communities and so on. And it's unfortunate. Even we look at internal self-government, we have done the bulk of the work. I'm saying it's not perfect. You would never get 100% consensus from everybody on all points, but we've exhausted the situation to the point that we said this is what the parliamentarians of today are willing to extend. And there are those who look at it and they know that it is much better than what we have serving us now, Act 40 of 1996, but they because the PNM is offering it, they prefer to throw the baby out with the bathwater and take nothing. So they're telling people, don't take little and live long. Nobody said to anybody to take little and live long. So what are you saying to them? Keep the little you have and try to live long? Because we know Act number 40 of 1996 can't do much, can't get us to where we want to be as Tobagonians. So it's political playing around with people's minds, their lives and their livelihoods, and it's unfortunate because at the end of the day, it's about the children or grandchildren, the generation to come. I'm 42. I'm no longer youth, you know, and many of us out here making decisions, no longer youth, but the decisions we made are going to tremendously impact the lives of the youngsters coming up. Yeah.
Many persons don't understand how we got to this point by way of the GSC and so on. And so there is the narrative, what some people are trying to create, that nobody wasn't really truly consulted, and that this process, it just got here and there are a lot of things that were left out. I know you would have been integral in the process going forward. Explain to us a bit of what was the work of the GSC and what it took to bring us to this particular point. Just on that as well, something that I heard is that a lot was adjusted. You know, they keep trying to sow different seeds. So I want you to clear that up a bit for us, for those of us who weren't present for the journey.
Yeah. An interesting thing is I was present for the journey. In 2004, Ashworth Jack, in his capacity as minority leader, brought a motion to the House, and the PNM-led Tobago House of Assembly agreed with this motion to pursue internal self-government, ask the government to pursue internal self-government for Tobago. And later on, it was further developed to getting the John Prince Committee on board, consultations far and wide, so that Tobago could speak to the central government with one voice, as this is the Tobago position, because we recognize it was being politicized. And we say, you know what? Mr. Orville London said, if we as Tobagonians could speak to Trinidad and to central government with one voice, it would redound to all our benefit. You can't politicize it when we've all taken off our political cloaks and decided to come together and say, this is what we want. And we follow the consultations, over 42 consultations done throughout Tobago and Trinidad too, to come up with this position. Over the years, the different drafting of it, some people got some points in, some people didn't quite get their point in, you know, but at the end of the day, it was a give and take. And we drafted something that spoke to the consensus among us as Tobagonians. And in 2016, in October 2016, Mr. London, they sent it to the central government, because we in the PNM, we said we are going to make this our priority. And we intend to grant internal self-government to Tobago and honor the aspirations of the Tobagonian. So it came to us at the end of 2016. Over the year 2017, the members of parliament had the opportunity to, you know, get familiar with it, those who had not been a part of the consultations over the years. And in 2018, we submitted it to the parliament. Now, before submitting it to the parliament, any bill you submit to the parliament has to go to the CPC. So you submit your policy and your draft to the CPC, and they would craft it into a legalese or something that is suited for the parliament. They would make sure that what you're recommending is not in any major contradiction with the law of the land and so on. So of course, the CPC would have shaped what we had submitted to them in order to place it before the parliament. And when it came to the parliament, we got a joint select committee was established. Members of the government, members of the opposition, members of the independent benches, in order to study, to research, to engage the legal luminaries, to engage the different intellectual persons towards getting more advice and so on the topic. So we spent from 2018 to 2020, we saved the work because we were speaking with consultants from the United Nations, UNDP, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, the different parliaments and countries that had similar experiences, St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, you name it. Any comment submitted was ventilated and discussed and considered, So in 2021, when we came up with our first draft, that's in the 12th parliament. So we saved the work of the 11th parliament for the 12th parliament. And we came to Tobago in 2018, in June of 2018, and consulted the people of Tobago, opening up for them to submit all their comments and their concern. Every single comment and concern submitted from 2018 to 2021 was considered, because after that we came back, was considered, ventilated. We got to the intellectuals asking, what do you think about this? Could you advise on any little thing? It could be man at the side of the street. Once you submitted a comment, it was taken seriously. So after doing that work in 2021, we came back to the house because the committee had ventilated everything that was sent to us. We came back to Tobago on, I think it's April 30th. And we consulted with stakeholders, the Tobago House of Assembly of the day. At that time, there was the 6-6. And on the day after, on May 1st, we consulted with the wider public and opened up once again for those who said, here, we want to consult our people once again. We want to talk to our people once again. We want the opportunity again. So from 2021 to date, that's 3 years. The legislation had been at the parliament, the entire study, 749 pages. So you can see everything that all the legal luminaries and all the experts had to say to us. So anybody who had to consult anybody and anybody who wanted to submit something could have done so. So here we are in the final year of this government's term in this session, ready to bring it back to the parliament. We're at a committee of the whole. And many say, why didn't you take a vote the last time you debated it? And that's because if you take a vote and it's not passed, we recognize we wouldn't have gotten the support of the opposition to pass it, because of course the PNM central government with only 22 seats, we can't pass it alone. You need 31 votes. You need a 3/4 majority to change anything in the constitution. And we have only 22 seats in the parliament, in the lower house, only 22 votes. So we know we have to get at least 9 from across the floor. And we are encouraging the Tobago House of Assembly the assemblymen in the Tobago House of Assembly to encourage their UNC friends to give support if they truly care about Tobago and about granting internal self-government. So there are those who said there were changes. Of course there were changes, because you submitted X and we placed it before the legal luminaries, the experts and so on, and they guided us accordingly to say, if you want to remain a unitary state, because that is what we said. We didn't say we wanted to secede. We didn't want to secede. We were not talking about a federal government at that time. We saw federalism as something we can aspire to in the future, because we know we wanted to strengthen our economy before we got to that stage. And we didn't speak to secession. What was very clear, we said we want to remain a part of the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. 2 islands, 1 country, 1 unitary state. So in some of the language that we sent to central government. Used terms that you would use if you're looking to secede. Yeah, or you won't use these terms if you want to remain a unitary state. So we were guided accordingly and say, okay, if you want to define Tobago waters versus Trinidad waters, then that is something you do when you want to separate, when you want to secede. The sea is seen as a unifying element. So there are no Tobago waters or no Trinidad waters. All the waters belong to all of us in Trinidad and Tobago because we are one unitary state. You know, and the different explanations are there in the 749 page document. And it's so simple. It's easy for anybody and everybody to understand. I think what our assemblymen know and what the naysayers know is that many Tobagonians not going and pull out that documentary. Many Tobagonians jump on the bandwagon and say, if my electoral district person, my area rep says so, I jump in on board that. And they wicked and they trying to suffer Tobagonians and all that kind of crazy stuff, you know. But if you pull it out and you read it, or you pay attention and you ask your own questions and conduct your own research, you would see all the work there, all the different positions and why the Joint Select Committee, the Chief Parliamentary Council, the members of staff of the Parliament, they try to tell you this is a PNM position and this is a PNM thing. All of us from the different sides of the fence, we sat in Joint Select Committee day and night and drill into this work. Even the parliamentary staff, and they were so proud about the work that they were doing because they felt like they were offering something, doing something towards bettering the development of Tobago. And here we are in this political battle, you know, trying to get the people's work passed. You hear so many people saying, the people of Tobago don't want this, or the people. When did people of Tobago tell you that?
Exactly.
Well, when did you consult then? You have all these different perspectives and what you think the people of Tobago want, and you have not done a consultation. There's a lot of talk going on out there, but let me tell you, it takes belly, it takes grit, it takes perseverance, and commitment to really go out there and do 42 consultations. I remember going from consultation to consultation, the Tobago parties. There was a forum of political parties that had Ho Choi Charles and Orville London and, you know, different persons on board. They had even invited Farley to join them when he came on board with Watson and they, and he did not join. You know, but they went from place to place in rain and so on, talking to people. I remember being at Mason Hall Government School. I think it was Mason Hall Secondary, and we sat in that hall until 12 something in the morning having these conversations. In addition to that, the conference of about 600 persons at Signal Hill Second. There were people from all walks of life, different parties and so on, offering their opinion, just really wanting to get this done for Tobago. So to be in this place today where we are trying to say Tobago people want something different just because the political tides have changed, and to put to rest or to redound to nothing over 20 years of consultation and research and consulting the experts and so on. At the end of the day, we have to understand that what we require or what we are asking for requires a change in law. The only place law can be changed is in the parliament. The parliament is made up of 41 seats in the lower house, and you need 31 of those 41 votes, or 31 of those 41 persons to say yes. So there's a whole lot of political foolishness and hogwash about, oh, let's get the 2 Tobago seats and we're going to grant you internal self-government. That is tricking up people who depend on you for leadership, and you know you're lying to the people, because 2 votes, 2 seats cannot carry you over. 2 seats cannot carry you over, not even the 22 that we have right now. You need 31 votes to carry you over, to pass in the lower house. And then when you get to the upper house, you need about 22 votes, of which the PNM only has about 15. So you need 7-8 persons from on the other side, whether it's independent or opposition persons, then we have to understand that if Tobago could have passed this legislation, we would have done so already by ourselves, because we had already consulted far and wide. We know what we want as Tobagonians. Yeah? So if we could have done this by ourselves, then we would have done that. We wouldn't have to ask central government nothing. Yeah? We wouldn't have to ask central government for anything. But the truth and the fact is, and the reality is, and we have to be honest with Tobagonians, is we have to convince the other 39 persons in their seats in Trinidad who have their own interest. And I am happy that Dr. Rowley went as far to getting every member of his cabinet and of his government to agree. Now it's up to getting the opposition and the independents to agree that this is what Tobago wants, and this is the best that we can offer Tobago at this time. So there are those who say, it's not exactly what we want. Robinson himself, the architect, did not get exactly what he wants. He went to the parliament in 1977, and in 1980 he took what was the best he could have got past the parliament of that day. And so then we made another push again in with Act 40 of 1996. And even with that, and Robinson have served as president, he served as prime minister, the highest offices of the land. So if you, the architect, served in these high offices, if it was so easy, then he would have gotten it done. So we know it's not as easy as they try to make it out to be, and you won't get it passed by cussing the central government and cussing Trinidadians and so on. It's about really negotiating, consulting, doing the research, and seeing how far you can push the current parliamentarians of the day. So I would recommend to Tobagonians that make that comparison. What we have now, Act 40 of 1996 versus what is before the Parliament in a committee of the whole. Is it better? Can we make it any better than it already is? Is there any matter that we haven't exhausted, ventilated, considered? And see what's the best we can get to set the young people on an even better platform towards federalism or whatever they so desire
at that
in their time. So it's unfortunate to see all this work put in, and it looks like we're gonna lose the work. And if we don't get the votes when the committee resumes, it's just gonna be a sad day for all of us as Trinbagonians and everybody who were consulted and put in the work, and those who have died. The Reggie Dumas, the Ojoy Charles, to not see anything accomplished out of this process that we have put so much heart and sweat and tears, and argue with our husbands for being out late at night in consultation. We Tobagonians, we carried this thing, man. We carried this thing over the years, and that is something that we have to tell and show our youngsters so they know that we're not sleeping on this thing. All of us from all walks. I remember sitting in the rooms with Crystal, Gift, Deborah Moore, McGinnis, you name it. Yeah. Everybody was on board and gung-ho. We were all asking for all sorts that we thought were possible at that time. For instance, we say we want 200 exclusive economic zone, or 200 miles, 200 miles, and so on. But when we consulted the legal luminaries, they said, if you want to remain a unitary state, trying to do that way, that means you're trying to separate. Yeah? And there's more to lose in separating. And we have to remember that when if this exercise is towards realizing the aspirations of the people we have consulted over the years, they did not ask to separate. Yeah. So don't try to foist or force secession or secession-like type of arrangements on them. If you're considering secession today or different economic or social arrangement, then you have to go back out there and really consult the people and get their permission to take something as the parliament. So what we're doing today is based on a process, and it's based on a journey, and it's based on the contribution on this matter. Now, in trying to shift the goalpost to say, well, if we don't get a federation, we don't want nothing. We don't want it. That's not so, because that is not what the consultations were about, and that is not what we had submitted to central government. You're shifting the goalposts. You're being dishonest with the people. I think you don't want it because you don't want it from the PNM. Yeah, some people they don't want something they want it, but they don't want it from the PNM, you know. And even in some bad treatment, they would take bad treatment from Fali and them, and they ain't taking no bad treatment from the PNM. It's just interesting. But I must say, being on board the journey, being in the politics over the years, there are so many lessons learned. From everything. I try to find the good in everything. And when Tobagonians decided to change their minds in 2021, there were lessons to be learned even in that too. So I don't frown upon that. We had our turn, 20 years, and now they have their turn in this term, and it's the people to judge. At the end of the day, it should be about development for Tobago. It should be about positivity for Tobago and what we are extending to our children and leaving for our children. We really have to look at what is being offered to us today. Is this really the change that we voted for? Is this really the fixing? Say we go fix this, we go fix that. Are they delivering on their promise? Are Tobagonians better off today than they were then? Do business persons have access to business opportunities? Are contractors in Tobago being developed? Or small businessmen benefiting from contractual work and developing their entrepreneurial skills? Or is it all being given to Central and South Trinidad in exchange for what was given to them to help them win their election? And these are questions that Tobagonians have to ask themselves. When we get our allocation, are we using it to the best of our ability? So no matter who sits in the seat, whether it's PNM, PDP, TPP, whatever they call themselves, Tobagonians have to look at what is best for Tobago and make sure that we speak up when it is wrong. Not speak up when it's wrong for PNM and when it's TPP or PDP or whoever, you're staying quiet. You know, we can't be hypocrites. We can't be hypocrites. We have to keep Tobago front and center, close to our heart, and in all we do our best for the development of our children and the generations to come, because they are counting on us. They can't vote. They're counting on us to make the right decisions.
MP, we are never out of words on this program, but somehow we always seem to be out of time. Yes. Closing remarks. I know there's so much you want to say, but I want you to issue that clarion call, especially for the support of this autonomy bill.
Yeah. I would say to Tobagonians, this is our journey. This is a Tobago journey. We have fought over the years to get us to this point. And what is before the Parliament, what is being offered to Tobago, is certainly different and better than what we have Act 40 of 1996. And I want Tobagonians to read for themselves, ask the questions, do your own research, and don't just jump on any political bandwagon. Get the facts. People telling you about trillions of dollars of gas in the sea and so on. We have to do our research to really say how much is there, what is there, and can it be brought to production? Because it's not only about identifying gas, it's about bringing it to production. What are we doing as Tobagonians to put us in a place to develop what we say is in the sea for us, about developing platforms, about doing the research? We had PRDI built and developed. Are we doing that kind of research for us to really say to Trinidad or central government that this is exactly what we're bringing to the table? This is what has come forth for production. This is the kind of exploration that was done. This is what we think is ours, as we say, you know. So we have to do the research to make a stronger point towards economic development, and it's a journey. Just like development and lawmaking, it's a journey. You go from stride to stride, step to step, every step along the way. And for Tobagonians, let's just remember, it's about Tobago. It's all about Tobago, doing the best that we can for a better Tobago for all Tobagonians. Politicians come and go, but it's about improving our quality of life and making sure that there are opportunities for all, no matter what side of the fence you sit, no matter what color you vote on election day. It's about opportunities for all Tobagonians first.
Very well said. I can't add or take away, but I can say that we are opening an invitation, hopefully in the near future, for you to return and let's continue some of these discussions.
Yes,
you know
certainly.
that the bill is soon to come, but we really want to get further into some of these discussions as we build out the benefits to Tobago and Tobagonians going into this next phase, and historical, I must add, because as you indicated, the journey took some time, and you all took the time to really package where we at now. So Member of Parliament for Tobago West, MP, Minister Shamfa, Cudjoe-Lewis, thank you so much for coming as usual. A lot of information. I know if I leave you alone, you can just talk and talk and talk, but I want you to rest as well, because you have a long day tomorrow. Really appreciate you being with us this evening.
My pleasure.
And for sharing with all of Tobago and the diaspora, because I get messages from them saying, what's next, you know? So we really look forward to you being back with us and continue the journey, continue the fight, continue being the market person and talking to everybody that you meet and that kind of thing.
I'll tell you something, Marilyn. Platforms like these are so important because there's so much misinformation every single day, and it is deliberate to destroy the power of democracy, because people make decisions by the information available to them. And if wrong information is deliberately being placed in the public domain, misleading people, then they would make decisions based on the wrong information available to them. So we have a duty and a responsibility to provide the facts. I hear all these lies about Scarborough, second, and all this foolishness being told to Tobagonians. We have to provide the platform and ask the questions so that those who are bearing tales could be called to account for misleading Tobagonians and taking them for fools. So I commend you on this initiative, and may we continue to be a place and a platform for truth. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to fellowship with you and all of Tobago this evening. I'll be happy to come back.
Yes, so we are going to hold you to that. Folks, we are well past our time. I'm getting cues from the director all the time. We're going to make up for this. So Marilyn David saying thank you for logging in. Thank you for being with us. Be an information bearer of the information that you would have gotten tonight. It's priceless. We look forward to seeing you guys next week, Tuesday. Have a wonderful evening.